and you got a game tonight, Chase Center in San Francisco, season on the line. Spears, anything in the last day that makes you reconsider what you said in that interview about Jordan Poole?
No, I mean, we'll see where it goes tonight. Sometimes I think it's inevitable for both sides that there's a divorce. I mean, obviously it's been, tough for him since the beginning of the season, obviously with the Draymond situation. And I'm sure if Draymond could go back in time, he'd change that. Can't. It is what it is. But I think right now in the postseason, man, it doesn't have to be about you. It can't be about you. It has to be about the team. It has to be about survival. And on the flip side, I'm sure Moses Moody was disappointed. I'm sure Gary Payton II was disappointed about playing time. I know Kuminga has been disappointed about playing time, but Moody and Gary Payton, when it was time to play, they were ready. They showed up and they've taken their roles. And for Moody, that's been a lot of DMPs during the regular season. And so, sure, I know it's hard when you're Jordan Poole and you've had the success that he's had, scored the points that he's had, and then now, your role has changed. But as you guys know, in the playoffs, man, they don't have time to take chances. They don't have time to let somebody get hot. Maybe Klay Thompson gets a bigger rope because he's earned that. But, I think right now, the way things were after the game, the last thing it should be is about yourself. And so, I mean, there is a way for Jordan to change that. I'm sure he'll get an opportunity today. And, if he could help save their season, maybe it changes the course of things. But I think after the game, during the game and after the game, yeah, there's certainly some disappointment. But I know right now that's the last thing the Warriors need is some extra drama on top of their, hopes to just stay alive.
I want you both to hear this. Doc, I am a faithful listener of the Draymond Green podcast. You are too, Spears, I'm sure. So Draymond, podcast just dropped, and Draymond talking about their situation, the Warriors being down 3-1. And by the way, before we get to it, I just want to say, this is one of the things about the Warriors that kind of gets under my nerves. They talk about history a lot. They're always talking about their history. And even though, Doc, as you pointed out, sometimes these teams, it's a different roster. When you came back against OKC, you probably had Sean Livingston on the roster. I mean, everything was Klay hadn't had 2 serious injuries. I mean, they keep talking as if they're the 73-win Warriors.
You got to find faith from somewhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, and we've done it before.
They are now. They're down 3-1. Yeah, you got to find, it's like a preacher.
We'll get to it in a second.
Your darkest hour, they got to find some faith somewhere. So that's all they got left. That's the only faith they got left is OKC, right? So you got to draw from that because that's the only thing to draw from.
All right, here let's hear Draymond.
First to 4, not the first to 3. Whether it's 3-1, whether it's 3-0, no matter. It's the reason it's a 7-game series. It's the first to 4. And we understand that every game won in a series flips the pressure to the other team. The moment you win a game, the pressure flips to the other team. I don't care if it's game 1. I don't care if it's game 6. Only time the pressure doesn't flip to the other team is when you win game 7. Once game 7 is won, pressure doesn't flip to the other team. That team goes home, you move on. So for us, the goal is to win one game. We've been here before. You go win one game, all the pressure flips. You go back to crypto, 3-2, essentially puts them in a must-win situation. No one wants to go on the road for a game 7. And we got nothing to lose. Down 3-1. You come out swinging, go down swinging if you do go down, but we're not going down. But you leave that court with no regret. And like I said, you win one game, series flips, pressure flips, everything flips.
You buy that, Jason Johnson? You buy the Draymond theory, one win and the pressure's back on the Lakers?
Michael, I'm going to put together a book at the end of this playoff season called The Philosophy of Losers. I'm going to put this chapter from Draymond right next to that speech that Giannis gave. Is the season a failure if we didn't win? Yes, it is. You're an MVP. Your goal is to win. It's a failure if you don't make it to the championship. That is the biggest load of garbage I have ever heard from a guy like Draymond Green, who's one of the most impressive, toughest, and single-minded on winning persons, characters, players in the league we've seen in the last 25 years. This ain't no flipping one way or another. Some of the Lakers may not even show up tonight because they think they can close it out as home. The pressure doesn't flip back and forth depending on wins. The only time there's real pressure, if you're talking about a playoff series, is if somebody wins on the road. And right now, it looks like the Golden State Warriors can't win on the road. So no, that's absolute nonsense. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I think it could be a blowout either way, quite frankly. But Draymond is trying to psych himself up and psych out the other team because at the end of the day, the Warriors have been coached poorly. Okay, I'm sorry. Steve Kerr is a good coach, but he got this team. He's accomplished some things, but I still consider him to be the non-racist John Gruden, of the NBA as far as taking somebody else's team and doing a lot of great things with it. And he's been outcoached, outdone, outmotivated, and this team is old. And Draymond is trying to come up with an excuse so they can feel better about the fact that they have underachieved throughout this series to a Lakers team being taught by a rookie coach who has literally gone ham up to and exposing the fact that Steve Kerr tried to use one of his own plays against him. Nah, I don't believe anything Draymond just said.
What do you think, Spears?
Kind of what I said before, man. This is all they got left. This is what they got to draw from. The thing that makes it more difficult is when the Warriors did it against Oklahoma City, this was a young KD, a young Russ, right? This 3-1 team that's ahead in the Lakers has a guy named LeBron James. And I know that LeBron James is going to have that team mentally ready to play. That they're not going to take the situation for granted. LeBron has said that the hardest win to get is the one where you knock a team out. So I'm sure, like, that stat right there is telling. That tells you that he always has his team mentally prepared to play in this game. I do agree with Draymond. I think the Warriors will play loose, but you being a team being down 3-1 doesn't just automatically make you change the way you've been playing. Are they going to continue to take threes that are going to be, bad selections when they need to mix in a two? Are they going to continue not to get to the line? Are they going to come out with the right aggression? It doesn't change the struggles that they've had this entire season. So, but I think where the Warriors know is, other than that one game, like I feel like they blew the last game, that they know they can beat the Lakers. This isn't a team that you definitely feel can dominate them. And I do think that at this point, mentally, it's simple, but you do take it one game at a time. Does it take pressure off? I don't think so, because they are the defending champs. It will be in disappointing. It will be embarrassing to lose at home to finish here. So I don't know how loose you could play when your season's on the line. So I don't agree that the pressure is off, but I do think this team does have the mentality to potentially make this interesting as well.
So, Spears, that headline kind of references it. There's more than the season, more at stake than Game 5 for the Warriors right now. And Doc Johnson, I know you believe that LeBron can be a dynasty killer. If they win this game, Doc, start with you. If they win this game, is this another dynasty slay for LeBron James?
King James is the slayer of dynasties. You go back to the Pistons. When he knocked out the Pistons, they never made another championship. He knocked out the Celtics, never managed to get themselves back together. He knocked out, you couldn't quite call them a dynasty, they were a very good team. He knocked out Toronto. He ended the OKC dynasty before it started. Because when they had Russ and KD and James Harden, after they lost in those finals, they lost James Harden. You are a dynasty killer when you knock teams out in the playoffs or the finals, and the loss hurts them so bad that they have to change their whole roster. They got to get rid of people. They start bringing in stars, getting rid of stars. It's not even the same team. If the Lakers manage to beat Golden State in this series, whether it's tonight, which I think is possible, or whether it's in the next game, if the Lakers beat this Golden State team, he will have killed this dynasty, because I do not believe that this same core three of Draymond, Klay, and Steph will still be there next season. I think there is a very good chance that one of these people, and by one I mean Draymond, could very likely be gone next year. They will have to get some youth, they will have to improve on defense, and they're going to have to move somebody substantive. I know we're only at the shallow end of the Jordan Poole at this point, but I think there's a lot more depth there. I think he's having a bad postseason, but I don't necessarily think you want to get rid of him, especially after the money that they just gave this guy. But I think LeBron's is going to get this done. He's going to knock these people out. And for all the folks who were just literally smoking something that I can't comprehend, maybe it's the dust that LeBron throws up at the beginning of the game. Anybody who was on that narcotic, okay, that somehow, some shape, way, or form, that if Steph won this series, he was going to compete with LeBron for being on the Mount Rushmore. No, you can't. You can't be on Mount Rushmore if you ain't never been a two-way player and you've always been a front runner, which is what I say about Steph. This series is over. It's either over tonight or it's over Friday, and the dynasty's done.
You've made it. You made it. Hey, Spears, he is now, at 50 minutes into the show, he has now taken down 52 people. In 50 minutes. It's unbelievable.
A lot of hatred, man.
I'm telling you.
I love LeBron.
Steph Curry is one of the icons of the league, just like LeBron. Two, I'm not gonna putting Toronto on that list. That's I mean, well, I don't know why Toronto was on that list. What did they do to deserve to be on that list? And they won it the next year. That Detroit team and the Boston
but that's the
team.
Point. They changed after that loss.
I'm talking. Hold on.
They changed the whole team. Oh, sorry.
But they hadn't done anything. They don't deserve to be on that list. In terms of the Warriors, obviously a lot is dependent on whether Draymond, opts in and out. I think there's a good chance he does opt in. The question is more, will Bob Myers be back? Because if Bob Myers isn't back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't return, whoever comes in next, I mean, that could spark the end of everything. So to me, the front office is the bigger question right now before Draymond Green. But I do think if their big three is back, it is incumbent on whoever the general manager is to bring a better group of players around them. There needs to be some size, not just one big, but maybe two bigs to go with Looney. The team is just too small. They don't score in the post. With Poole, I think you really have to, you might have to consider moving him. If Draymond opts in, that's a $25 million opt-in. So for Draymond, I don't know, this is a lot here. I don't know how long we could talk about this. Well, but where is he going to go? Like, who is going to have money for him? If it's a rebuilding situation, is he going to go to a rebuilding situation at this time of his career?
No way.
I don't know. Like, who has money to give to him?
You're right.
So it's. I think it's too complicated right now to kind of. But talent-wise, if those three guys are back and they put the right people around them, they're certainly capable of being an elite team next year as well.
You're right. There is a lot to talk about. We will talk about it possibly after tonight when the series could end with the Lakers victory. We'll see. But I want to talk about love. There's been so much hate on the air today. I want to talk about a love story. You're wearing the beautiful insignia of Langston University, Langston, an HBCU out in Oklahoma. And you were privileged enough to be the commencement speaker. You had an honorary, you were the speaker. I know you got an honorary doctorate out there. Give us some words of wisdom on that experience.
Oh man, it was amazing. Shout out to Langston University, only HBCU in Oklahoma. I had a fantastic time. Dr. Smith, thanks for hosting me, and they gave me a doctorate. So, I mean, I ain't saying y'all got to call me Dr. Spears or anything like that, but I do got a doctorate on my resume now. So it's, it was an amazing experience, and I kept it simple. I think I was like in the 12-minute range in the commencement speech because I realized they're not there to see me. I'm just the appetizer to the main course, which is seeing their family members graduate. But no, it was a memorable time, and I thank them for giving me that honor.
Doc Johnson and Doc Spears.
Man, hey, Doc Johnson be coming with it, man. You got to bring him back, boy. He got some opinions, baby. He got opinions.
This is a 60-point triple-double today. I mean, he's got everything
I gotta
going.
drink some coffee next time with Doc Johnson, baby.
Look,
Good to see
I
you,
envy you,
Spears.
Mark. HBCU graduations are the loudest ones in existence. I'm glad you went.
It was dope. Shout out Langston.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.